Hi, everyone. This is Carol Ann Speaks, The State of Our World, on Wednesday, June 8th, 2022. So, what is it? Good, bad, or indifferent? All three. Election day was yesterday, and for the primary, so hopefully it'll work out in a general election. What are some of the major headlines? Billionaire democracy. San Francisco DA chases Bowden is ousted in recall, and LA mayor race heads to a runoff. In San Francisco, they're ousting him because he was trying to have a more just system and more accountable criminal justice system. But for some reason, real estate industry wanted him out, and the police officers union wanted him out. I don't understand. Also, global embarrassment. Mexico and more skip Biden's summit of Americas for excluding Cuba and Venezuela. Yes, President Biden did not invite Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, but they invited a lot of the others. And they also didn't exclude like Bolsonaro in Brazil, and they didn't exclude Honduras, Guatemala, and Salvador. Would have terribly violent leaders there, violent governments. So I don't know. Also, indigenous Amazon leader excluded from Summit of Americas urges leaders to protect the rainforest. I totally agree. And intensify the search. Journalist Dom Phillips and indigenous expert Bruno Pereira are missing in Brazil, and their country, Brazil, is not doing anything to help them. So what gives? Okay, what are some of the minor headlines? San Francisco voters recall DA chase up Bowden. LA mayor's race headed for a runoff. Okay. This guy he was a Republican, then became an independent, and then became a Democrat right before the election. And he spent about $40 million of his own money in the primary to be the mayor of Los Angeles, and he's running against a congresswoman, an LA congresswoman who serves in Congress, in U.S. Congress. Okay, now, see what happens there. My mother's life mattered. Son of Buffalo victim pleads with Congress to take action. Congress doesn't care. And Matthew McConaughey says the Second Amendment has been hijacked by deranged individuals. And Gary Giffords speaks at memorial for gun violence victims at the National Mall. Thank you, Gabby Giffords. I'm glad you're doing well. She was shot in 2011 and went through years of therapy and treatment, and she's doing better. Also, people were killed. It was at a meet and greet in Arizona, where this area she served. Okay, now. Arizona police officers placed on leave after refusing to help a drowning man. That's very interesting. I don't know. Three police officers have been placed on leave after they ignored an unhoused man's plan. Please help him from drowning in a lake. Okay. So I'm hoping he will get justice. All right. North Carolina County to pay Andrew Brown Jr.'s family $3 million over police killing. Yes, held them accountable. And that's in North Carolina. Millions at risk of starvation if Ukrainian ports don't reopen because Ukraine and Russia provide the vast majority of the world's wheat. And so I don't know. Russia's trying to take advantage of the situation, so I don't know. We'll have to see what happens there. Okay, now, millions at risk for starvation and Ukrainian. Latin American leaders boycott Summit of the Americas because Biden didn't invite Cuba and Nicaragua and Venezuela. Why not? But you invited dictators from other countries, and you wanted to go to Saudi Arabia and speak to that dictator. Okay. Now, what else? State Department and Pentagon failed to count civilians killed by U.S. weapons in Yemen. Internal U.S. government report has found the State Department and Pentagon have failed to assess how many civilians are being killed with U.S.-made weapons in the U.S.-backed Saudi-led war in Yemen. And the report was written by the Government Accountability Office. So why then is President Biden going to Saudi Arabia where they still stone people to death? Do you need their oil that bad? We have all this energy, green energy. I don't understand. Okay. FBI seizes data from retired General John Allen in Qatar lobbying probe. Apparently, Officer Allen was lying about his role in secretly lobbying for the government of Qatar. Okay, he became president of the Brookings Institution. Don't understand that. Okay. Lebanon arrests 64 attempting to sail to Europe. Okay, so that Europe won't complain about people coming in. I don't know. Or did they stop them? I don't know. Is it because they want to help Europe to avoid more asylum seekers? Federal judge rejects Louisiana's racially gerrymandered congressional map. Good. Okay, its map was what was going to pack black voters into a single district in a move that would likely lead to the state having just one black member of Congress. That's great. This is Louisiana. Okay. And Louisiana becomes the 18th state to enact trans student athlete ban. So if you're a trans person, you cannot participate in sports. This is meant for school sports. Okay. All right. Yellen, Secretary of the Treasury, I believe, has warned that inflation remains high and currently face macroeconomic challenges. Okay, therefore, warning against inflation in the era. Meanwhile, U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has faced some criticism after recently saying one of his goals in combating inflation was to get wages down. That's great. Jerome Powell, you don't have any problem with low wages. Okay, now, Memphis 7 Starbucks store votes to unionize. Yay. I'm all for the unions. Ukraine says Russia has killed or wounded 40,000 since the invasion. So why can't we just invade Russia because they're invading Ukraine? I don't know. UN official warns of rape and sexual violence committed by Russian forces in Ukraine. All sexual violence people, all assaulters, they should all be killed. Mexico's AMLO skips summit of the Americas after Biden bans Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua. Okay, all right. So that's the news in a nutshell, so to speak. Okay, how about a little music? All right, what would you like to hear? Close the door, light the lights. We're staying home tonight, far away from the bustle and the bright city lights. Let them all fade away. Just leave us alone, and we'll live in a world of our own. We'll build a world of our own that no one else can share. All our troubles we'll leave far behind us there. And I know we will find such peace of mind when we live in a world of our own. Okay, that was World of Our Own, written by Tom Springfield of the Springfields Folk Group. And it was recorded by his sister, Dusty Springfield, and also the Seekers. And Dusty was also part of the singing group, and she went on to become an international singing star. Okay, now, that's interesting. Okay, let's see. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. The June 8th, 2022, to another meeting of Carolyn Speaks State of the World. Take care of yourself and others, wear a mask, practice social distancing. When the vaccine is available for you and decide if you to take it, I would take it. Had Johnson & Johnson one shot, had 2 sore arms, I was tired, that was fine. And I'm looking for a booster. Okay, good night, stay safe. Remember, kindness goes a long way. Kindness first, very long way. Thank you, good night.